For 10 unforgettable seasons, Friends brought us laughter, love, and some of the most iconic sitcom moments in television history. But what fans cherish just as much as the show itself are the outtakes. The unscripted slip-ups where the cast couldn't stop laughing, lines went completely off track, and real friendships shone through. Today we're diving deep into the funniest, most legendary bloopers that prove why Friends will always be the sitcom we turn to when we need a good laugh. These aren't just mistakes. They're the magical moments that happened when the cameras were rolling but the scripts fell apart. The story begins with one of the most unexpectedly hilarious scenes: Joey and Ross's infamous nap. In the episode, the two buddies settle in for a screening of Joey's beloved Die Hard. What starts as a casual hangout ends with both of them falling asleep, tangled up in each other's arms. Joey later declares it the best nap of his life and goes to ridiculous lengths to convince Ross to do it again. Silly? Definitely. But here's what makes it even funnier. The actors themselves couldn't handle it. Matt LeBlanc and David Schwimmer broke character take after take. No matter how many times they tried, they kept collapsing into laughter. The crew eventually gave up and leaned into the chaos, capturing bloopers that are just as funny, if not funnier, than the finished scene. As the seasons rolled on, the cast only grew closer. By season 10, they had developed such a natural chemistry that even small mistakes turned into unforgettable bloopers. Take the episode where everyone is stuck at Emma's first birthday party, waiting for Rachel's baby to finally wake up. Courtney Cox accidentally glances straight into the camera, something every actor dreads. But instead of brushing it off, Matthew Perry and Matt LeBlanc pounced on the mistake. "Can you believe Emma's still asleep?" Matthew joked, mimicking her line but adding his own smirk. What followed were ruined takes, uncontrollable laughter, and proof that the Friends cast knew how to turn accidents into gold. Now let's pause for a second. Think about it. When you watch bloopers, do you find yourself laughing harder at the scripted jokes or at the raw, unscripted laughter of the cast? Which one do you think reveals the real magic of a show? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. One of the most surprising bloopers happened during one of the series' most emotional episodes: the devastating breakup of Ross and Rachel. While the storylines were heart-wrenching, the rest of the cast worked overtime to keep the energy light behind the scenes. Cue Monica and Phoebe's leg-waxing disaster. On screen, the girls scream in pain, attracting Chandler and Joey, who burst into the room with exaggerated panic. But apparently the director thought their acting was a little too over the top. So, in the next take, Perry and LeBlanc decided to take the note literally. They entered the room moving in slow motion, delivering their lines as dryly as possible. "That was less," Perry quipped, mocking the direction. The sabotage was intentional, but it created one of the funniest bloopers from the entire series. And who could forget Rachel's Thanksgiving disaster? Assigned dessert duty, she accidentally combines two recipes thanks to stuck magazine pages, ending up with half English trifle and half shepherd's pie. Layers of custard, jam, and beef. It sounds revolting, and it was. In character, Ross and Joey gamely try to eat it, determined not to hurt Rachel's feelings. But in the blooper reel, Schwimmer breaks first. After forcing down a huge bite, he tries to deliver his line, "It's too much," but instead bursts out laughing. LeBlanc, too busy devouring his portion, doesn't realize what's happening, until the laughter becomes contagious and both of them lose it. The dessert may have been disgusting, but the blooper was delicious. Of course, not all bloopers came from lines or direction. Sometimes the biggest comedy came from the smallest cast member, Marcel the monkey. Introduced in season 1 as Ross's unusual pet, Marcel, whose real name was Katie, was unpredictable on set. In one blooper, Jennifer Aniston is supposed to sit with Marcel and explain a soap opera to him. But Katie had her own ideas. Instead of following cues, the monkey wandered, tugged, and stole the scene. Watching Aniston struggle to keep the scene together while bursting into laughter is pure joy. It's chaotic, it's unpredictable, and it's proof that the old Hollywood saying is true: never work with children or animals. If Marcel was unpredictable, Lisa Kudrow was unstoppable. Her laugh, high-pitched, infectious, and utterly uncontrollable, was a blooper magnet. In one memorable season 6 scene, Rachel and Phoebe are fighting about who has to live with Monica and her strict rules. Supposed to be tense, even snarky. But suddenly Kudrow starts laughing. No one knows why. And once she starts, there's no stopping it. The entire cast falls apart, the scene collapses, And what should have been a fiery exchange becomes a laughing fit that left the crew in stitches. Lisa's laugh wasn't just funny, it was contagious. Fans still talk about it today as one of the defining elements of the blooper reels. And then there's Matthew Perry. If you've watched even a handful of bloopers, you know exactly where this is going. Perry had a knack for sneaking into scenes unexpectedly, improvising one-liners and breaking everyone around him. Many fans argue that 75% of the bloopers could be summed up as Matthew Perry doing whatever he wanted. From mocking his co-stars' mistakes to barging in with sarcastic commentary, Perry's improvisational energy made him both the most unpredictable and the most beloved presence on set. Even in scenes where he wasn't supposed to be the focus, he had a way of stealing the spotlight, with a grin, a quip, or just a perfectly timed eye roll. The truth is, the Friends bloopers remind us of something powerful. Yes, the show was scripted. Yes, every scene was meticulously planned. But the moments that fans love most often came when things went off script. When actors broke down laughing, when jokes failed, or when a monkey refused to cooperate. Those outtakes gave us a rare glimpse behind the curtain. They revealed the friendships that had formed off camera, the joy that carried the cast through long shooting days, and the chemistry that made Friends timeless. That's why decades later we're still laughing, not just at the jokes but at the laughter itself.